Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. How'd you get in my house? Not the point. Hi, my name is Zach. I'm a biomedical engineer from The Ohio State University. And I have a quick question for you since you're in my house. So back there when I was stretching, what allowed me to do that stretch? If you answered the spine, you would be correct. However, as you might know, the spine is made of bony components, but it can't only be made of bony components, because if they were all bone and I bent like this, spine would break. And clearly I'm still standing and sitting up. So how does the spine actually work? What tissues allow the spine to move and bend? Well, if we look at this fancy diagram of the spine, we will see that, like we were talking about, there are bony components that you can feel on your back, known as the vertebra. And if you look right here in the middle, the thing in the middle that sits in there that allows you to move and flex is a piece of cartilage known as the intervertebral disc. Cartilage is the same thing that your ears and tip of your nose are made of. They're flexible structures that can be moved when force is applied onto them, but retain their structure when they're not loaded. So with that in mind, I have another question for you. So if the intervertebral disc is so critical for us to move and do all the things like twist our torso and bend our backs, what would happen if it was damaged? Well, if it was damaged, you'd probably imagine that you'd be in a lot of pain. But if that disc was damaged, you'd also have a lot of immobility. You wouldn't be able to twist and turn and do all the movement that you're normally accustomed to. In fact, you would not be able to do all those things, and you would be stuck in a chair or lying down most of the time. And if the damage was severe enough, you might even have nerve damage. That would lead to not being able to move your legs or other parts of your body and not feeling any sensation when someone touched those things. This is a huge problem in biomedical engineering. Millions of people are affected by back diseases and spine diseases every year that cause them these same symptoms. So what if and these happen all the time in the intervertebral disc. So if these are also critical to doing this, what actually causes the intervertebral disc to degrade, to not have this? And the answer would be that it loses material properties. So what are material properties? Well, material properties are pretty straightforward. So if I had this piece of paper and I were to hold it and apply a force to it, it would rip. But if I did the same thing with my trusty hammer, I pulled it, I'm not going to be able to pull it apart, nor am I being able to twist it or bend it or twist it. In fact, you heard my wrist and thumb snap before my hammer even looked like it was going to budge. And this makes sense for those materials applications. We want to be able to fold paper and put it into letters. We want to be able to make paper and move paper and make it do what we want. Whereas with the hammer, if our hammer was as flimsy as paper, we wouldn't be able to pound nails or smash things. So each of these things and material properties are based on their function, as most things are in your body. And so in your body, your intervertebral disc has its own set of material properties. And your body works really hard to maintain those material properties. But when your disc is damaged or diseased, those properties deteriorate and makes your disc weaker or stronger than it's supposed to be, causing you damage. Your disc is very fine-tuned so that way you can bend your spine, but also not have your spine's vertebra collapse in on themselves and cause you immense pain. So now that we understand what the vertebra is, why the vertebra is, now that we understand what the spine is, what it does, how it works, and what we need to do, and what its material properties are, how can we fix intervertebral disc disease and repair the spine? And we need to be able to understand those material properties. And my research at Ohio State was related to understanding the mechanisms by which that disc degeneration occurred, so that way we could reverse it and make sure that we restored the material properties of the disc. In your design challenge today, you will be making your own intervertebral disc. and you will be trying to fine tune your disc to the right material properties so that way you can reach the proper compression so that way your person doesn't break their back. So now that I've explained everything to you, I only have one more question for you. What will you engineer?